Good afternoon. And as we reassemble here after lunch, I have been given the difficult task of combine the best of both traditional and contemporary practices to healthcare. I firmly believe that the blending of ancient wisdom with modern science holds the key to addressing the evolving healthcare needs of our society. Today, we will touch upon new ideas to bridge the gaps between AYUSH and contemporary knowledge systems, which are essential to promote integration and for mainstreaming of the AYUSH systems in national healthcare programs. As I was delving deeper into AYUSH, there were a few questions that stuck out to me. Why do perceptions prevail in young minds and within the community about the ineffectiveness of Ayurveda and yoga? What are we doing to encourage scientific research and evidence-based practice? How do we meet the expectations and curiosity of young minds? How does AYUSH ensure quality, safety, and efficacy? These were some of the most important questions that I believe plague AYUSH today, and I look forward to discussing them with our esteemed panel today. Today, I'm joined with by an extremely diverse panel, diverse not just in terms of the geographies that they represent, but diverse in the experience and the viewpoints that they bring. Let me begin by quickly introducing our panelists. First and foremost, to my right, Dr. Arun Kumar Tripathi, Vice Chancellor of Uttarakhand Ayurveda University. Uttarakhand Ayurveda University is an autonomous body of the government of Uttarakhand. And I would like to also add that in Uttarakhand is the only state where Ayurveda has also provided industry status. On my immediate left, Dr. Vandana Siroha, Director, Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapith, which is also an autonomous organization under the Ministry of AYUSH, Government of India. Director Vaidya Ratnam. To my left, Mr. Subodh Tiwari, Chief Executive Officer, Kaivalyadham SMYM Samiti. And to the extreme left, Mr. Ashwajit Garg, Founder and Chief Executive Officer of Khioni. So without further ado, my first question to Mr. Tiwari. In harmonizing AYUSH and modern medicine, what in your opinion are some of the key challenges for the industry?
Well, thank you and greetings to everyone. Coming from the yoga perspective, which essentially has a tremendously large practice base, the fundamental, there are of course a lot of diversity in the field of yoga, which is its strength, but that also becomes its challenge. So when you are looking at it from a point of view of providing therapeutic benefit, yoga as therapeutic intervention, there's a big gap between, being able to establish certain standards in that therapeutic intervention, because that is directly related to its acceptability in synthesis in the approach of the modern medicine. So with such large schools of yoga, with varieties of traditions and diversity on one hand, but an application in therapeutic angle, this variance and limitation of scientific vigor. These are something which we need to address to. And finally, I also think what was mentioned in the morning, that we need to also ensure that we create the right narrative for what we have, the strengths which we have, which is immense, but we need to create that narrative.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. My next question is to Mr. Moose. How do you think we can integrate different systems of medicine and healing? And just to build off what Mr. Tiwari said, how do you think we can also add to creating jointly the right narrative?
Thank you, Mr. Goenka. Good afternoon to the audience. I think the potential of AYUSH as a sector, there is no doubt about the potential. And at the same time, there are certain challenges that we pose when it comes to integration. See, in the morning there was a discussion regarding the effect of Panchakarma, what happens when variation is done to the gut health. So I would rather use the term, if we can re-engineer few of our concepts or redesign few of our concepts like gut health with the help of available scientific information, I think that gives a great platform to start the integrative process. For example, instead of saying that every disease starts from gut, if you can use the tools like gut microbiome, maybe, to interpret few of them, that might give a better acceptance to the scientific community. This is one part. Second part, when it comes to integration with health sciences, various health sciences, one big challenge is about standardizing. Without proper standardization, it becomes difficult to proceed. And Ayurveda as a science, we all know it's highly customized and personalized. So we have to identify which are the areas wherein the standardization can be brought in. And at the same time, the concepts like personalized medicine or customized medicine has to continue like that. So this is one of the crucial areas of integration. And is in our hospital, what we do is till the point of diagnosis, we use maximum technology so that helps the patient to understand what is their problem. So sometimes when we say that you have to improve your digestion and metabolism to cure rheumatoid arthritis, they may not agree. But up to a point, if you can convince them about these concepts, they may agree to that. So that is one point. And second, I think we can integrate with various other sciences, like basic sciences, chemistry, physics, even pharmaceutics, to create a framework around which this medicines act around. So I think that's, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moose. My next question, sir, to you, Dr. Tripathi. So, it is imperative to have a strong interface between academia and industry. So what are your thoughts on that, and what role do you see interdisciplinary education playing in preparing future healthcare professionals to effectively contribute to the integration of AYUSH with modern medicine?
Well, as I am a person from academia and I have been associated with the state AYUSH administration as a director of the state for more than 9 years, I have a lot of experience and a lot of challenges I have faced also. Firstly, in the state of Uttarakhand, so many changes have been made in respect of the AYUSH services delivery, health service delivery system, in educational also. Uttarakhand is the second state after Kerala having its own AYUSH policy. Firstly, it was started in 2018. Then after 5 years, again in last year 2023, it was renewed for 5 years. In those policy, the service sector, educational sector, how to integrate the AYUSH, different system of AYUSH with the contemporary other system of medicines, contemporary tourism department, commerce department, agriculture department, horticulture department, because we have multifaceted activities. If we are cultivating the medicine, which is the basic source requirement for the industry, and as you know, the Uttarakhand being the hilly state is the repository and reservoir of many of the rare herbs also. So on one hand, if we are exhausting our resource, at the same time we need to enrich our resource also, because without cultivating the medicinal plants we cannot go to long-term harvesting. So this is one approach where Uttarakhand is doing. Uttarakhand has its own herbal research development institute at Gopeshwar in Chamoli district, which is propagating the knowledge of herbal medicine among farmers, helping with the grant of the National Medicinal Plant Board for their cultivation and for their buyback system on one hand. Secondly, Uttarakhand is having concept of medical tourism also. AYUSH department is associating with the tourism department. Those are the GMBN or KMBN, Kumayu Mandal Vikas Nigam and Garhwal Mandal Vikas Nigam. These two are the basic functionaries of the tourism department, where tourists are coming for a stay at different tourist locations. AYUSH department, what is planning, opening its own AYUSH Panchakarma clinic, yoga facility, mini herbal garden there, so that whatever the tourists are coming, they can primarily use the facility of Panchakarma and yoga as well. At the same time, they make aware about what are the common herbs, their identification, their medicinal uses. So they can get first hand aware of what is the raw resource is there. At the same time, industry and academia interface is being made. For example, the third year student which is studying the Ras Shastra and Dhargun subject, they are batch wise being sent to the different industry and around for 15 days internship, so that they first hand go to an industry, learn their processes, learn their challenges, and back to the college, ask questions to their teachers and get some solutions. And out of this, there are chances for the incubation center, there are chances for the innovation, and there are chances of entrepreneurship also in future. So, as the new education policy is focusing on the traditional knowledge with scientific temperament and input. So, this concept is well taken again in Uttarakhand, and as we know, this is the era of lifestyle disorders. So, unless we go to the schools, teach them what are the basic principles which the student can learn very well, how the lifestyle should go, what are the healthy eating style, what should eat, what should not eat. This is the concept. So, in primary education as well as in middle education and up to the intermediate education, the policy is under draft. Some curriculum has been prepared so that the primary level, secondary level, they are basically made to understand what are the AYUSH input can be beneficial for their further lives. So, if the basic knowledge is given at this level, I am sure in their future life they may be the entrepreneur also. At least if they take help for their self and their family, it is again the worth. So, this kind of approach is being given. With the bridging the gap with modern medicine, we have started the knowledge exchange program. Last year, 2 batches of allopathic doctors in 2 batches of 20 each came to the Ayurvedic University, where they are being taught and trained about the AYUSH concepts and their system, their potentials. 10 days training program. And this was a huge success and well appreciated. This year again we are planning this kind of approach. You know, the medical college, Doon Medical College, the AIMS Rishikesh, they are having their own AYUSH clinic. Our experts, our professors are going there as a visiting professor to train and teach the staff also, and sometime for the services also. So, this kind of approach is going on. As he said in the opening remark, Uttarakhand is the first state where wellness, AYUSH is given the status of the industry, so that the peoples involved in this kind of activities, wellness activity, they can get all benefits what MSME and mega industrial policy is giving. Over and above, top up 10% subsidies from the AYUSH department also. This is again the remarkable fact. So, in this way, Uttarakhand is growing the whole ecosystem of bridging the gap, keeping the system AYUSH advanced, well advanced. So, at this stage, I have to say.
Thank you so much, sir. So now bringing a business lens to the same topic, Ashwati. How do you think holistic healing and well-being can encompass the best of both worlds, traditional methods as well as modern science, and work in a manner so as to meet modern consumer expectations?
So, today's consumer is quite aware, and thanks to easy access to internet and the kind of penetration that has happened, with e-commerce and cell phones being available. So, a lot of the stuff that happens is like you search for something online and you believe that it has got no side effects. and this makes sense, this is a natural herb, so it's available. So there's a lot of inherent knowledge, age-old knowledge that existed, and now we as a startup and as a company are, and several hundreds of them, are trying to bring that knowledge into products for common use. So for example, it could be a body butter crayon, it could be something like an eye pillow, something that gives you instant relief, something that gives you some kind of wellness, which you can associate, which you can relate to your, like I think Sir just mentioned about lifestyle disorders. So when you're sitting in front of computer screens all day, I mean, you're bound to have digital eye strain. So things that can reduce your digital eye strain, Ayurveda or not, natural way of wellness, still I believe is a part of Ayush. You know, those kind of things, I think are more relatable to the common consumer of the day. It doesn't have to be medicine only. Similarly, in terms of what you're using on your body, and as and when more awareness grows, I think there is more responsible behavior from the audience, I mean from the customers, and similarly from companies. So it's also a melting pot. So while the traditional sciences and Ayurveda, all of that exist in whatever form, so I believe this fusion is very interesting, and I think that's a growing industry. Similarly in form of treatments as well. So like how we were discussing, not all treatments have to be panchkarma based only. I mean, we could, India being the melting point of several traditions, I mean, right from Tibet all the way to the south, I believe there is also an opportunity for several of today's stakeholders here to collaborate. So for example, if you're running an excellent Ayurvedic center, maybe you could get a sound healer, maybe you could get some sauna experts, as I was mentioning the other day, and create a facility in the Himalayas, you know, in Uttarakhand, and depending on what the nature is providing you. So I think, again, to answer your question, fusion is where it could appeal to a lot of new audience, you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwajit. And I think two very interesting points there, right? One on collaboration across different healing methods in a way, and a very interesting nuance that Ashwajit raised, which was really to not think of this as medicine, but to think of this as a solution, and therefore make it more amenable from a consumer standpoint. Dr. Siroa, the next question is for you. So, you know, in the morning, Secretary Kotecha was here as well, and you know, he was mentioning that there was a research which said that, you know, in a couple of years, India will be at the 3 billion mark or whatever as far as Ayush is concerned. But he said that was surpassed many-fold, and nobody was able to anticipate that that would be the level of growth. So what are some of the steps that the ministry and the government are taking to further the cause of Ayush, and specifically for Ayurveda in India?
Yeah. Thank you for this question. First of all, I would like to congratulate and thanks to Mr. Rajiv Vasudevan sir, so for keeping such a wonderful forum. We are from different industries. I am representing Ministry of Ayush. I am the director of RAV, Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapeeth. Earlier, I was in NABH. Bejan Mishra sir is here. So we were working for the quality, and yes, there are few pillars which we need prior giving you some instances of ministry. I would like to tell you about some growths in Ayush sector. So when I was working in NABH as deputy director there, so we were working for the standardization of the policy and for the hospitals and for the Ayush centers. So earlier, NABH created this standard in 2009. The basic theme for creating this standard is like that. In 2005, they released their first standard for modern hospitals. Now, there was something lacking in the patient care and the quality of our hospital, our Ayush hospitals. So, they created the standard for Ayush accreditation standard, we call. These were the standalone standard. In 2019, first standard was released. Then later on, they have drafted the second edition standard that has been released. Now, they have prepared one holistic standard for whole Ayush, that is for full accreditation. Now again, there was something lacking in the quality, in the patient safety. They again prepare one standard, which is very doable, very easy standard, which we call safety level standard, entry level standard for Ayush. So these are the part of hospital side. Now what ministry is doing, ministry has already done, that is in 2001, they have released one unique standard which is focused on the Ayurveda services. Ayurveda services, we call it a ATAB standard, which stands for Ayurveda Training and Accreditation Board, which is governed by IRV itself. And they have created this unique standard just to standardize and just to accredit the services of Ayurveda sector. Like in Panchkarma, if we are practicing in North India, the practices are little different, as we can see the compared to the Kerala or South India practices. Now to harmonize these practices and just to standardize these practices, ministry has again effort something more. They have bring out this standard and it is also very doable. This is first edition standard only and it is freely downloadable on RAV website. Recently, we have accredited 41 these courses, Ayurveda courses, and 9 institutions has achieved this accreditation through ATAB. Why ministry is focusing on this? Because we want to make it parallel on the line of this modern medicine system, and we have to make our India healthcare system as an integrated healthcare system. Why this has emerged? During COVID time, we all have seen so many changes, and AYUSH has proven wonderful drugs in COVID system. So they have given this AYUSH Ayurveda kit. They have also launched that AYUSH 64. Of all of us, we know that how much AYUSH has contributed during pandemic time. So these type of things happens, and if we are making the system parallel to the system of modern medicine, we need to take some extra efforts, which we need to have some standardization in our services, in our patient safety, in our quality culture. So for that, there are 2 big standards. One is NABH is offering for hospitals and RAV is offering for the Ayurveda services. So, and this is a unique type of a standard ATAB. It is not only for India, it is globally the same standard is being applicable. So presently we have received like 20 these Ayurveda courses globally throughout different continents of the world, and in India we have received 164 courses till date. So it's very doable and very easy. We used to conduct free of cost the trainings also, just to guide our people from AYUSH that how to go for accreditation. And what is the need of accreditation itself, we describe these types of things in our trainings also. So this is a need of our. And if I come to the question now, what are the things that ministry has covered? Recently, ministry has launched on 4th and 5th of March, this month only, we have launched one program which is called as Decades of Achievements of Ministry of AYUSH. This is freely downloadable of all the websites of all the national institutes of ministry. In that we have covered n number of things. Like, of course, the ATAB standard, we have similar ways we have for yoga, we have yoga certification body, and that is also throughout the globe, that is the only standard through which you can get certification of yoga. Our Honorable PM has launched so many programs related to yoga. Now we are celebrating International Day of Yoga also. So that has been, we all have governed like 8 International Yoga Days we have celebrated. And we have also made so many things like in the CME, earlier the CME was the component only to just integrate our knowledge to our medical professional. Now this scheme has been changed. We call it a Ayurgyan scheme in which many components are there which ministry has taken. So there are many efforts ministry is doing to propagate these things. Now there is one more thing, drug standardization component is also there. We have different pillars. DGHS, AYUSH vertical has DGHS. AYUSH has a vertical in DGHS also. AYUSH has a vertical in BIS. AYUSH has a vertical in other units as FSSAI also. So these are the things which is we are stepping forward to a more growing system of AYUSH. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's extremely heartening to know all the efforts that the government and the ministry is taking to further the cause of AYUSH. Right from, like you said, standardization, having AYUSH accreditation systems, ATAB standards, the Ayurgyan scheme. So I think, like we say, India is now in its golden era. I think AYUSH in India is also in its golden era. And I think it's for all of us sitting here in this hall today to kind of make the most of it and really put India and AYUSH right in front of the world. Mr. Matthew, my next question is to you. In the morning we spoke about the importance of looking at medical tourism, wellness tourism. So how do you think AYUSH can contribute to strengthening tourism through medical and wellness tourism in India?
Thank you, Chair. First of all, let me appreciate CA's this session. Just 2 weeks before I was in Germany attending ITB. We had interactions with the different people from different countries. And we got requests from 3 countries to start Ayurveda centers in their countries. I told them, but dear members, I told them, sorry, I cannot do this. Here, the role of AYUSH comes. I really appreciate, she was telling the requirement, the need of NABH accreditation. I have 3 NABH accredited Ayurveda hospitals, Somadhiram, Manathiram and Ayusoma. Madam was also there. After doing this NABH accreditation, our doctors got more confidence. Our therapists got more confidence. Even myself and the management got more confidence. The way now we are running. Last week, the GST people also came. They couldn't believe whether this is an Ayurveda hospital and how this Ayurveda hospital is running, because there is only 5% GST if the rent is above 5,000. So they couldn't believe. The whole team, joint commissioner and 8 people came. They spent a lot of time in our NABH accredited Ayurveda hospital. So in short, what I want to say is, what is happening now in the world towards Ayurveda? I'll give you 2 examples in brief. One patient from Russia, he comes to Somadhiram every year for 1 month. He is a Parkinson's patient. He got this disease 20 years before. And now he is a surprise for doctors of Russia, his doctors, how he survives still without increasing the disease. He can move now, he can walk, he can eat. This is because he is taking Ayurveda treatment for many years and he is coming every year for 1 month. I'll give another example. Last year, there was an oncology seminar in Trivandrum. 2 doctors from Mayo Clinic, Mayo Clinic, the allopathy hospital. 2 doctors attended that meeting and they came in Somadhiram and both of them took treatment for 7 days. After that, they included 1 subject in this oncology seminar. Myself and another Ayurveda doctor was in the panel. First time they are including 1 subject for Ayurveda on our request. And they spoke in the meeting, Ayurveda is really beneficial, good for certain treatments, and also it is necessary to integrate, as Dr. Moose told, we have to integrate certain treatments and certain programs after allopathic treatment or before allopathic treatment. It is possible. So these are 2 examples I want to say. The scope of Ayurveda, the future of Ayurveda. In addition to that, the export possibilities of service, employment, export possibilities of Ayurveda medicines, Ayurveda cosmetics, Ayurveda food supplements are enormous. But still where we stand. In India, we have 130 crore people. How many of us are taking Ayurveda treatment? Still, how many of us know about Ayurveda, the benefits of Ayurveda? Then we take about the other countries. Out of 200 countries, how many countries have know about Ayurveda? Since we are doing, in our place, we are always traveling around, and in my 3 places, 90% of our patients are foreigners. I know the challenges and the reality. So AYUSH, my last request is, I should take more intensively promoting Ayurveda other countries that they are already they are doing. Now what I understand is they have chapters in around 30 countries. AYUSH has got chapters. This is the first step. In short, what I want to say is we should get approval of Ayurveda in other countries like Chinese medicine got approval. That is number 1. We should get the approval of insurance of other countries. India, almost all insurance companies are accepting. Still there are some hurdles. But if you get the approval of insurance in other countries, people will flow to India to take Ayurveda treatment. So AYUSH is in the right way. In India also, still I want to say in India also we have to work further in all states of India. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think a very important point, right? It's not about just building that tourism within India, but also kind of creating that awareness and acceptance of Ayurveda outside of India, so that it can further funnel the cause of medical and wellness tourism. Staying on the same topic, Dr. Moose, just would you like to add any thoughts from Kerala? And the reason why I ask is, Kerala has taken the lead as far as AYUSH is concerned in terms of becoming a wellness destination for AYUSH. So 2 or 3 best practices that you think the rest of the country and players from across the country can kind of adopt, which Kerala may have started off with.
Sure. I think with Dr. Baby Matthew in the panel, I don't know whether it will be amateur from my side to comment on that. But still, I feel that there are a couple of ingredients that really pushed AYUSH or Ayurveda in Kerala. I think I should start with one point that if you discuss with the legendary academicians in Kerala, one thing that everyone agreed to is that there were a lot of folklore or traditional practices which are happening in Kerala. And somehow, knowingly or unknowingly, they all came into the academics. So the learnings, especially in the 70s and 80s, they used to say that it was not just the textbook learning. There were a lot of such practices they integrated into the learning module. So that, in fact, gave a lot of advantage when it comes to customized products and services in the state, especially in the areas of Bala Chikitsa, Visha Chikitsa, etc. So that was one standing that Ayurveda had earlier. And when you look into the medical value travel or the wellness tourism industry, the last year CII, the initiative of CII, we conducted a global Ayurveda summit and healthcare summit together in Kerala. That means there were allopathic hospitals and Ayurveda hospitals under single roof, explaining to the world what is the potential of Kerala. So such initiatives really gave a lot of boost when it comes to promoting Kerala as a healthcare destination. And of course, I think the health awareness, that is another crucial factor as far as Kerala is concerned. The amount of awareness that even the rural public has about health, various healthcare practices, that also contributed to the growth of Kerala, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think important to note that it's a joint effort between the government and industry to kind of take that forward and jointly own this as a deliverable. So absolutely. Mr. Tiwari, yoga is something that has been amongst the different tenets of AYUSH, one of the most successful and widely accepted forms, right? So how do you think other elements of AYUSH can increase public awareness, and what kind of education campaigns can be leveraged on to promote that understanding and acceptance?
Well, like we discussed in the morning, that while the yoga element got very popular because it was widely practiced, widely advertised, we need to concentrate even on the other sectors of Ayurveda in various fields like educational institutions, because that is where the awareness starts. So we have confined that now, but that is one of the major areas. And secondly, how we have learned through the Indian scenario of the celebrations of IDY. Every sector took it upon themselves to ensure that there were larger celebrations and larger involvement of everyone, which encouraged people to adopt yoga, largely. So similarly, the other, I think that we can do it together. While we promote one, the others could become part of it so that we function as a whole unit. So I think that is the way forward.
Absolutely, so thank you so much. And I think it's important to note here that all the tenets of AYUSH need to kind of collaboratively come together as one unit. And I would like to add that instead of it being just the elements of AYUSH, I think we should possibly collaborate along with what is defined today as modern pharma or medicine as well, and treat all of us holistically and complementing each other in the treatment of people and their issues. So, one of the things, and I think it cannot be overemphasized, that despite claims that AYUSH is people's healthcare system in India, it's important that it has the necessary credentials for such a role. And AYUSH has not yet been accepted as mainstream, and nor does it hold the status of first choice of treatment for most people. Right? So Dr. Vandana, a question for you, and of course you spoke about earlier the standardization, which is one of the steps to kind of help this. But what are some other strategies that should be adopted for, in a way to foster robust scientific research, which will help in the acceptance of Ayush then?
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually, yes, all the disciplines of Ayush are working simultaneously through various projects of Ministry of Ayush. Prior answering this question, I would like to take that Dr. Moose has told that there was something like we call Guru Shishya Parampara. Sir, RAV is already doing this, 33 years RAV is doing this. We call it a Guru Shishya Parampara. It's a certificate kind of a course for all the BMS graduates. We take an entrance exam for it, and on the basis of merit, there are 100 gurus, empaneled gurus of RAV, under which one Shishya needs to be trained for 1 year. And that's a stipendary type of a course. They get stipend also for this. And RAV also conduct many n number of trainings. In Kerala also we have done many trainings, like in Sridharam for the eye diseases we have taken one training, for Agni Karma, for leech therapy. There are n number of trainings in Ayurveda RAV is conducting every year. There's a very unique kind of a training which is a residential training, 6 days residential training for all the teachers, PhD scholars, MD scholars. This we call Charakayatnam. One of the best Sanhita of our Ayurveda is Charak Sanhita. So RAV has into the propagation of Ayurveda, we are doing such training. And regarding MVT, I would like to add on the information which Dr. Moose has just said, that MVT portal is being connected to all the accredited. Like if you are NABH or ATAB accredited, then your name will be reflected on the MVT website. Ayush Ministry is working for Ayush Visa also. That is in under process, and sooner or later we will get it. So any kind of visas are easily achievable with the help of ministry, and ATAB itself is a global program. So any overseas also we are doing this accreditation. Anyone who requires this kind of accreditation could approach to RAV, and this is paperless, and we have a very good portal on our website, RAV website, rav.gov.in. You could log in and you could see that. On 4th and 5th of our conclave that we have launched these 2 training program, and that is also under process, because many of the templates, many of the guidelines we will be keeping on our website just for the use of all the stakeholders. So this is up to Ayurveda only. Now I'll again come to the question that how we need to integrate our system. See, many of the national institute, we have 9 national institute other than National Institute of Ayurveda and All India Institute, that is the apex institution. Ministry is working very hard to keep such type of standard which is doable to all the disciplines of Ayush. So through that way also we are doing it, and we have drug and policy section. That is only one section which is catering all the needs of all the systems of Ayush, and this is add-on effort. On, I think, year 2019, our Honorable PM has announced 12,500 integrated Ayush hospitals and dispensaries throughout the country. Presently, 9,000 something are actually in function, and about 5,500 are being already covered under this AELC program, Ayush Entry Level Accreditation Program of NABH. So these are not only Ayurveda, these are not only Unani, these are the holistic type of treatments they are offering. And in All India Institute of Ayurveda, if you see that there is one OPD for homeopathy, one OPD for Siddha, and soon we will start the OPDs for Sovaripa also. So this is holistic approach of ministry which we are doing. We are integrating our processes, we are integrating our services also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think it's very enlightening to know all the different steps that are being taken for this effort. So we are almost at time. So I would like to take a couple of questions from the audience. So yes. So first you and then you. Yeah.
So it's very motivating seeing one of the younger generation guy from a well-renowned group of our India is talking about Ayurveda. That is very motivational, by the way. Thank you so much for doing that. And we really appreciate. So myself, Dr. Piyush Juneja, founder IndianVedyas.com. So ma'am, first of all, one question for you, and sir, one question for you. As far as, okay, let us start with sir. So as far as universities are concerned in Ayurveda, so can we represent a platform where we have around 100 founders of certain startups in Ayush space. So can we think that universities like Uttarakhand Ayurveda University can be a platform for certain kind of incubators, or we can fortify your placement cells, exposing the final year students or PG scholars to the industry in the startup ecosystem. So our universities like Uttarakhand Ayurveda Universities are open for these kind of associations? We are confused. So please, sir, if you can answer on that.
A very well question you have asked, and certainly I assure you the Uttarakhand Open University is open to all forum for all kind of facilitation, whether it is in field of education, interface with the academia, in the entrepreneurship program, the incubation program. Recently, you know, the new education policy is laying more and more emphasis on the incubation and entrepreneurship. You know, the Ayurvedic scenario is grossly changed from older days to new one. Earlier, the students were coming to the Ayurveda just to have a degree and going practice to the allopathy system. Now, this is gradually changing and lot has been changed. Now, the students in the colleges these days only talks of Ayurveda, nothing else. So, this has been changed with the glorious effect of the teaching, the scenario of the educational policy, the AYUSH ministry programs, and so much ecosystem has been now growing up for this kind of education. As far as your particular question, we are always open and we have already started. I just have said, I have designed the internship program with the industry. Our every student in 2030 batch, they are going to the industry for their 15 days. They learn the processes, they make the first hand knowledge of what are the challenges of the industry. So this kind of efforts are already being made. Further, if you have any option and any program, sure, I am ready to accept it.
Sure, sir. Thank you. So, ma'am, just a small query. As we talk about private practitioners in Ayurveda space, we face those challenges because we have more than 1 lakh now on our platform. Recently, the regulations say that if you are a PG degree holder, then only you can write certain kind of a specialist against you, not a BMS doctor, no more. So that has been changed. I think most of us are aware about the latest circulars and gazettes from the NCSM. Now there is a gap because if you talk about allopathic space, so apart from MD and MS, DNBs also have a right to write specialist and they can work as an orthopedician, at least in some space, and they can write specialist. But for RAV, Guru Shishya Parampara or any other program, maybe we are not clear right now or we are confused, or if we can have some kind of a circular that these kind of trainings, after that you can write these kind of words, maybe not a PG specialist but some kind of a diploma holder specialist or whatever, to fulfill that gap of certain. And for example, there are people who are working on Shar Sutra from last 20 years but they are BMS. They are doing Panchkarma from last 15 years but they are BMS. But they have a good clinical experience, and now as Ayurveda is growing, so we can't write specialists, and there are specialists who are very less as compared to the entire country population. So there is a way in which we can create something like DNB so that we can also write, and some mid-age Ayurveda doctors or senior also can join these kind of courses without age bar. So these are our small queries, if anything can be done for these. Thank you.
Yeah, very good question, Dr. Piyush. Actually, it would be really early to announce this, but yes, Ministry is working over it, and we will be soon creating some DNB courses for Ayurveda, only for Ayurveda, not the other stream, because RAV, thank you, RAV is a nodal agency for accrediting the Ayurveda courses. Okay, so please think about it. It's only for Ayurveda courses. We call it ATAB, which is Ayurveda Training and Accreditation Board. So we will be coming up with a new standards for DNB courses. We are still in the process of it. I'll not announce that it has been done. We are still in the process. Since last year, we are making many efforts to make the curriculum of that we have already created. We will start it with only 2 courses like Panchakarma, colon proctology. We are working on it. So soon we'll give you the one more degree, that is DNB in Ayurveda courses. So it would be quite early to announce it, but yes, you asked this question. So Ministry is making great efforts, and NCISM is also doing so many great efforts to making this system more robust. How we are making it? They have also done a few certification courses. I think you must be knowing it. These are 45 different courses which is done by NCISM. A great team is behind that, like sports education in Ayurveda, like Char Sutra, Panchakarma. There are a number of Ayurveda biology also. These are some certificate course which is acknowledged by NCISM. Yes.
Just to add on to the certificate course, there is still a confusion that can we write certified something like that in the addition of the name, because that is the issue, because we need to market ourselves in the population.
See, 20 years practice is the more, and even NABH acknowledges it. If you have 10 years of practice, we do allow that you could practice. This is a long period you are practicing the same thing, and we are accrediting you, NABH is accrediting you. That means itself they are recognizing your things. Yes.
Thank you, and apologies. I know you had a question, but just in the interest of time, panelists will be here later in the day, so I'm sure they'll be happy to take your question offline. But as we close, wanted to, from the bottom of my heart, thank all of you all to join us here today. And I'll try in 3-4 bullet points to kind of summarize a few of the things we discussed. I think to further the cause of AYUSH, I think the importance of scientific validation and research to ensure credibility and acceptance cannot be undermined. I think public-private partnerships to further spread the word on AYUSH would be important. And I think we as an industry need to come together and undertake the effort of educating people about the science and evidence behind AYUSH and the safety and efficacy studies both. And I think while AYUSH presents a vast market potential, not just domestically but also on a global scale, I think it is all of our joint responsibility to appropriately market this and create that global demand for the offerings of AYUSH. And lastly, something that I said earlier as well, and what everyone else echoed, is I don't think we should treat AYUSH and modern healthcare as two separate entities which are competing with each other, but really look at them as complementary and integrated with one common end objective of holistic healing. So with that, thank you all once again, everyone.